Hey, how are ya? Let me introduce myself. After the bright flash, I woke up and found this tag stuck to me. It said radioactive. So I guess my name is Radioactive. You can call me Radio, or you can call me Active. Just don't call me for dinner. It goes right through me. Now I have something to say. What I have to say today is I am sure we are Canadians, as Canadians, are lucky not to have Pierre Poilievre, the king of lies and division, and to have Mark Carney as a prime minister with an actual plan. First we'll go to the lies.
You say, well, of course we have a housing crisis. After 10 years of Liberals, there's nothing new in that. But I'm here today to talk about the next Liberal housing crisis. So this crisis has changed into something new and even worse than there was before. They first inflated the housing bubble, and now Liberals are bursting the housing bubble. The bubble is bursting, and it is hemorrhaging jobs and construction right across the country. Nowhere worse than here in Ontario. The facts are staggering. First of all, let's start with the promise that he would double home building. Well, according to Mr. Carney's own housing agency, home building is expected to plummet by 13% over the next 2 years. But here in the GTA, year over year, it is down 49%. In Kelowna, it's down 36%. Pre-sales are down 48%, and they are 82% below the 10-year average. You talk to home builders in the GTA today, and they will tell you this is the worst they have ever seen it in generations. I've talked to home builders that have been in this business for 50 years, and they say they have never witnessed this kind of carnage in the housing sector. What is
There's your first lie. I'm about to prove to you is not true at all.
Or the bottom, each city can learn from best practices from others across the country and continue to improve. I'd like to highlight some of the key findings of the report before I move into the rankings. Firstly, the research for this third edition of the report consists of data collected from June 2022 to May 2024. The study therefore does not include impacts as a result of changes since then. Secondly, given that we have such a huge housing shortage in this country, it's noteworthy that construction activity in the municipality studies has not been able to keep up with population growth.
Not been able to keep up with population growth. Isn't that something? Now let's get to what Mark Carney's plan is. As for Pierre Poilievre with no plan.
Safer communities and homes you can afford.
Oops. Got to move that one back just a little bit. There we go.
There you go. Okay, that'll work. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you for joining us here today on this glorious summer day in September. We're thrilled to be hosting, and thanks to all of you for being out here today in the sunshine, getting your vitamin D before winter kicks into gear. It is great to be here today. I'm Gregor Robertson, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, and honored to be here today with the Prime Minister, with so many of our colleagues and so many leaders from the home building industry, the experts building Canadian homes. Housing affordability is one of the largest challenges for Canada and Canadians. The housing crisis has deepened over several decades, impacting communities across our country. There's not enough non-market housing to meet the needs. Homeownership has become unattainable for too many, and productivity in the sector is low, which is driving up costs. We need a major shift to make safe, sustainable housing available to all Canadians. Solving the housing crisis means addressing the challenges in big cities and responding to the needs of rural and small communities as well, from Vancouver to Val d'Or and Toronto to Thompson, Manitoba. Today, we are here to respond to these challenges and build at a scale not seen in generations. Over the summer, I met with home builders and leaders in the housing space. I also engaged with many government leaders, provincial, territorial, Indigenous, and local, to ensure we're forging the partnerships that will ready us for the task at hand. And from our conversations, it's clear to me that when it comes to building more affordable housing, we are all in as Team Canada. And this is what I heard. First and foremost, we cannot build alone. We must build in partnership with the experts who build the homes that Canadians live in. And we need to build with Canadian innovation, materials, and workers, the best in the world. And finally, there is momentum like never before to deliver on affordable housing. Aujourd'hui, on répond à la crise de logement. On présente des solutions qui utilisent l'innovation, les matériaux et la main-d'œuvre canadienne, qui sont les meilleurs au monde. Nous faisons cela parce que le logement devrait être abordable pour tous les Canadiens. Canadians are counting on us to build faster and more sustainably than ever before. Today, we are putting forward a key piece of the plan that delivers for them. It's time to build. And with that, it is my honor to introduce and welcome the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Gregor. Bonjour tout le monde. Gregor, I'd like to afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Gregor. Bonjour tout le monde. Gregor, I'd like to thank you for all the work you've done over the course of the last 6 months, 4 months, I guess, getting this in place. It's even less. Even this gets to the point. I'd like to thank Mayor Sutcliffe, all our great colleagues from the National Capital Region Caucus. And I wanted to say just how great it is to be here today with the Kaiven team. And Frank and Troy, what you and your colleagues have created is absolutely extraordinary. It is great to see what you can build and how fast you can build. Congratulations. We are tantalizingly close to my riding of Nepean. Just across there. Very proudly in Anita's riding. Yes, Anita Vandervelde's riding of Nepean West. But in Nepean, it is the proud home to Kaiven, one of Canada's most successful developers, manufacturers, and home builders. It's one of a new breed that are driving a Canadian industrial revolution in home building, one we need. Kaiven is scaling up their plant from around 6 homes per day present to 38 per day by the end of the year. That is 10,000 homes a year built in their factory in Nepean.
These are factory-built homes alone, not the ones that you put shovel in the ground for.
The 2 sets of homes behind me were manufactured in 2 days, assembled on site in 1. We kept the townhouses. We wanted to keep the townhouses open. We held back the workers from finishing it so you could see how things fit together, how the computer design fits together and tailors the structure. The one over there is being shipped to Nunavut, and I'll speak more about that.
Being shipped to Nunavut already. Jeez, that's hurry.
Project in a moment. Kaiven est la preuve de savoir-faire canadien dans la construction des maisons de l'avenir. Leur rapidité, leur rigueur et leur engagement envers l'innovation sont les raisons pour lesquelles nous sommes ici avec eux aujourd'hui. Exactly 6 months ago today, Canada's new government was sworn in for the first time. And on the steps of Rideau Hall, I promised that our focus would be action and change. And we immediately began to deliver that change. On day one, we canceled the consumer carbon tax, which had become too divisive. And that helps bring down gas prices for all Canadians. Et après l'élection générale de notre première session parlementaire, nous avons réduit les impôts pour la classe moyenne, éliminé tous les obstacles fédéraux au commerce interprovincial et adopté la loi sur la construction du Canada afin d'accélérer les grands projets d'intérêt national. Cet été, nous avons conclu de nouveaux accords avec nos partenaires et alliés pour diversifier nos échanges commerciaux. In June, we struck a new EU-Canada partnership that will expand and deepen our trade, defense, and energy, as well as our commercial relationships. Le mois dernier, je me suis rendu en Ukraine, en Pologne, en Allemagne et en Lettonie pour renforcer notre prospérité et notre sécurité commune, notamment dans les secteurs des minéraux critiques, de l'énergie, de la défense et de l'intelligence artificielle. Au cours des 2 dernières semaines, nous avons lancé des initiatives et des investissements historiques pour protéger les travailleurs les plus touchés par les tarifs américains et pour renforcer la compétitivité de nos entreprises. Nous avons mis sur pied le bureau des grands projets. Et nous avons lancé notre première série de nouveaux projets de construction nationale afin de transformer notre économie. 60 milliards de dollars d'investissements initiaux, combinés à des stratégies qui vont catalyser des centaines de milliards de dollars supplémentaires. Et nous ne faisons que commencer. The change is just beginning. We need to keep moving with speed and determination because the upheaval in the global trading system is not a transition, it's a rupture. And its effects are already profound. Workers displaced from their jobs, supply chains disrupted, and massive amounts of investment held back due to extreme uncertainty. Now more than ever, we need to take control of our destiny. Dans cet environnement marqué par les bouleversements, le nouveau gouvernement du Canada se concentre sur ce que nous pouvons contrôler. Donner plus de pouvoir aux Canadiens en renforçant notre pouvoir économique. We're transforming Canada's economy from one that had become too reliant on a single trading partner to an economy that's more diverse, more resilient, that's built for Canadian workers and their families. The Canadian government's 7 core missions will build our economy, protect our workers, and empower Canadians to seize the opportunities that will arise from this transformation. We won't just manage through this crisis. We will prosper from it. And that brings me to today's announcement. We're focusing on our government's mission to make housing more affordable for all Canadians. You know, young Canadians are doing everything right. They're studying hard, finding a job, saving up. Yet for too many of them, rent is unaffordable, and home ownership feels entirely out of reach. Across the country, it takes nearly 4 years for first-time homebuyers to save for a down payment, and in markets such as Toronto and Vancouver, even longer. Depuis des décennies, les experts sonnent l'alarme. Le Canada n'a pas assez de logements parce que nous ne bâtissons pas assez et pas assez vite. Aujourd'hui, avec les pressions croissantes sur l'offre, les prix demeurent trop élevés. Bref, le logement abordable est devenu une crise pour les Canadiens et Canadiennes. So we're in a housing crisis, as Gregor said, and it's going to take all hands on deck to get us out of it. Our private sector, our provinces and territories, municipalities, nonprofits, and Indigenous partners, all working together to speed up and scale up home building, to build the affordable housing that all Canadians deserve. And so today, Minister of Housing and I are proud to launch Build Canada Homes, a new federal entity that will supercharge housing construction across Canada. Build Canada Homes will do several things. It will help fight homelessness by building transitional and supportive housing in close partnership with provinces, territories, municipalities, and Indigenous communities. Secondly, it will expand deeply affordable and community housing for low-income households. Third, it's important. These are all important. Third, Build Canada Homes will partner with private sector developers to build affordable homes for the Canadian middle class. And finally, Build Canada Homes, in doing all of that, will catalyze the creation of an entirely new Canadian housing industry that uses modern methods of construction to boost productivity sustainably and at scale.
Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there and ask you a question. Who would you rather have for a Prime Minister and leader? Pierre Poilievre, who spent 20 years dividing and lying to the Canadian people? Or Mark Carney, who actually has a plan? I will leave the link to that video I was showing you down in the description so that you can watch the rest of it if you like. Tell me what you think in the comments. Well, that's it for today. You know what to do down there. Bye.